Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of TigerBytes, where we look at cutting-edge online learning practices from all across campus. Today we have Alicia Harkless with us. Welcome, Alicia.
For having me. Thank you.
You've had kind of an amazing rise within the Auburn ranks. So I guess where I'd like to start is if you could talk about your career path and how you ended up in your current position, and then what you do in your current position.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I have a very unique background, I'll say, in terms of how I ended up here at Auburn. I was an undergraduate at Troy University, and while I was there, I interned at the IT department for a couple years. When I graduated, my degree was not in IT, but I was hired full time working with the IT department. With working with the IT department, we transitioned to working with their online program, Troy Online, and I
Which is
rose.
it's a big deal. I mean,
It
they
is.
serve military folks all across the
They
world.
do have campuses all across the world, and I rose through the ranks there up to associate director. And I was in charge of helping the director with the portfolio of all of our educational technology tools, instructional design, the classes that we taught for faculty to learn how to teach online, and managing the LMS system. I was there for about 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then my previous job, my boss there, he came to Auburn and he poached me from from Troy to Auburn. And I started at Auburn Engineering Online as the instructional designer for there.
Okay.
And I worked with the faculty for the online part to help develop their courses and then supporting the LMS and any of the integrations that we had for Canvas.
How many different classes does engineering offer online?
Oh, wow. All
Roughly.
across all of our
Yeah.
departments, we offer just about every course online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Every
so
course has an online version. Wow.
so yes, so the way our online structure works is that our on-campus classes are recorded, and students can log in real time and watch those classes streaming or review those videos after, and then they
Right.
work with the faculty to facilitate the discussions and courses and all the content.
So you've transitioned from instructional designer to director. How
Yes.
has your perspective on leadership changed through that journey, or any sort of epiphanies about leadership?
Great question. I don't know if I would say epiphany because I have been in a leadership role prior
Right.
to Auburn,
Right.
but I will say maybe reinforcement.
Mm.
So for me, I approach leadership from the standpoint that people first, right? You can't get the job, the mission, any of those things completed or done without identifying the people as a valuable source in your area. So I always lead with empathy, making sure that my team knows that I'm always available, but understanding that their life does not stop at the door. As a leader, you have to understand they bring those things in and they take the things that occur at the job home. So making sure that there's a space for them to understand that, yes, I'm a leader. We're working towards a mission, a vision, but I'm very aware that you are a person and that has value.
So beyond the kind of white glove
Mm-hmm.
customer service, what are your top priorities in growing Auburn Engineering's online and continuing ed programs?
I love this question. I get this question all the time, and I am a dreamer. It comes from my, I guess, my creative side in instructional design. But primarily, one of the things is that we want to make sure we sustain the program that we have. As we know, higher education is under a sort of attack in terms of students maybe not seeing value in continuing
And
education or
fewer college age students
yes,
demographically.
for sure. So for us sustaining what we have, but also looking at ways that we can leverage the Auburn brand and the fact that engineering is a very lucrative career choice. For me, what we're looking at is partnerships. We have a cohort model that was developed prior to me getting here, but was one that we also had at Troy, that we work with companies to develop a cohort with their
Mm-hmm.
employees. And so we are, along with industrial systems, John Evans was one of the thought leaders around having a cohort model. um, we are taking that to the companies and we're saying, we can help you. Here's the Auburn brand. These are the courses that we offer. These are the programs that are available to your employees. How can we help you? And then we also look at what are industry needs. What are the employers saying are gaps in the skill set of the employees, and how can we help bridge that gap? So that ties into our continuing education side, where it might not lead to a degree, but it leads
Mm.
to filling a skills gap.
Do you guys have certificate
We
programs?
do. So we have graduate certificates
Mm-hmm.
as well, but on our continuing education side, we offer certificates. We have primarily been in the space of civil engineers because of licensure, but with my leadership, what I'm hoping to do is expand that
Mm.
where it's lifelong learning. I'm a big proponent of that. And so looking at ways that we can incorporate more workshops,
Mm-hmm.
going in person to the different companies to help address certain skill sets that's beyond just the civil needing the licensure for needing the continuing education license to for renewal, but also looking at ways that we can use the continuing education side as a micro credential. So, stackable credentials
Mm-hmm.
that we could hopefully lead to getting them in the pipeline for getting a degree.
Right.
We have cohort agreements with several
There
companies.
you go.
Uh, Honda is one of them. We actually
Okay.
did a huge marketing campaign around that partnership through ECM, and we attempt to go to the manufacturing companies here, but
Sure.
also expanding that out to say the Auburn brand is
Mm.
available anywhere
Right.
through online.
Gotcha. So there's so many online tools and teaching strategies
Yes.
available these days. How do you decide what's worth using and what's just sort of noise or,
Right.
flashover substance?
Yes. For me, I think about we have to be careful of making sure that we're not using the bells and whistles just for the bells and whistles to
Right.
make it pretty. It should have a value to the student. A lot of times when evaluating what tools are available, we're looking at what is the objective of
Mm.
that? What will it be addressing? It's not just to make it pretty. It is actually doing something to enhance the learning for the
Has to serve
students.
the learning objective.
Yes. And so I love technology. That is probably my love language. My team, they hear about technology all the time. AI, all of the things. So I am constantly going to conferences, listening to what's available, what's out, because the tools are coming out quickly, but there may be another tool that is available that we should be using or we haven't heard about. So you have to have an open mindset also that it is a new tool, but what will it address in
Mm-hmm.
terms of helping to develop a class? And that also leads to how comfortable would the faculty member be in using
Right.
this tool. Will it benefit the student? What kind of user experience would the student have with that tool? So there are a lot of things that you should evaluate in terms of looking at tools in order to incorporate those in class.
Do you still get to do some instructional design work, or are you purely administration at this point?
I am still right now doing the instructional design
Mm.
side of it. I am right now in the midst of hiring my replacement, but it is it is a love. I love design. I don't think I'll
Yeah.
ever let that go because the creative side of me needs
Right.
that, and I love working with students, helping them see what they can do and making sure that the learning that we're doing in an online class gets them to that end goal. So I don't think I'll ever let that go, but we are in the process of hiring a replacement.
I think that's smart. Sometimes people move up to a supervisory position and they get away from what they loved about the
Yes.
work to begin with,
Mhm.
and then they kind of get a little heartbroken. Like, geez, I used to have so much fun.
Mhm.
Now I have to deal with, Sally's chronically absent without good
Right.
excuses, and that's, not a lot of fun to deal
Yeah.
with.
I kept that mindset also when I was in my
Hmm.
previous position where I continued not at the same scale because it's
Right.
it's it's unmanageable to
Sure.
to do it at that same scale, but I to your point, believe that it keeps your skills sharp as well in terms of making sure you're still using those things. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. So
Hmm.
I will essentially still help on the back end for the support for the new ID.
What's your approach to leading a team that serves adult learners, where adult learners have a wide range of different needs? Undergraduates, the needs are
Hmm.
pretty condensed set,
Yes.
but with adult learners, it'd be a much more diverse set of needs that they want to try to meet.
I have a marketing coordinator that works with ECM. And part of her job duty is helping us to craft that
Mm,
from the marketing side of it. Who is our target in terms of the courses that we're offering, the degrees that we're working with the different departments to cultivate. And so we are looking at what is the engineer that we are trying to target. More specifically on the adult ed side, bringing in the educational background, we are looking at, adult students have a different sort, they have different challenges
mhm.
than
Time.
for sure time. They have other obligations that take up a good bit of their time, work, and making sure that when we are offering our services that we keep those things in mind. So we offer support to our students up until around 9 o'clock. They can email me
Mm,
directly. If
wow.
they have issues within Canvas or the LMS, they can email. They usually will get responses. Same thing with the
Hmm.
faculty, because they're an adult. They're not the adult learner, but they're
Right.
supporting the adult learner. So sometimes the students will reach out to the faculty for help, and then the faculty will send them to us. So we support the students on the weekends,
Hmm.
after hours. And so my leadership around that is I want my staff to know that they are not required to work after hours or on weekends, but the fact that they choose to support the
Hmm.
faculty and the staff is amazing. I try to reward that every chance I get
Hmm.
because they're doing it out of just
Right.
love of the
Kindness of
job.
their hearts.
Yes,
Yeah.
love of the job, love of supporting the students, and that's an amazing team to have.
And we've talked about COVID a few times on TigerBytes in terms of the silver lining that
Yes,
obviously it was terrible,
for sure.
but it forced us to kind of on the fly
Yes.
innovate and
Hmm.
improvise. Was there anything interesting or exciting that you did in engineering to respond to that situation?
Yes. So I agree with you. There was a silver lining. I think where a lot of people might have thought that online was new, right? It was just starting out. They
Right.
really got to see what it could look like if they were going to take their course online. Now, what we did during COVID, of course, was not online learning. I tell people that all the time. We were doing remote learning.
Simulcast.
Yes, we were
Yeah.
leveraging the tools that we had in a very difficult situation, but a well built course takes a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
And so um, I think the silver lining for me was that faculty really started being very creative in their own minds of how they could do their classes, because now they had to figure out, how will I write the formulas out for students to be able to see the formulas? How am I going to do whiteboards at home? And so what we did was we purchased so many of the drawing a blank on the names of the document cameras. Oh my God.
Document.
Yes,
Yeah.
the document cams. That was like,
So people were using document cameras at home.
yes, we ordered several of the very small ones that
Oh,
you can,
okay.
that allows you to, you put it on your desk, and it, whatever you are writing in that area will
Right.
show up on the document cam. So in real time we were able to support our faculty to help them translate what they would do in classes at home. So
Right.
we brought in the document cameras, the video cameras. We did one-on-ones with faculty And what we do is if faculty are going out of town,
Oh,
we
okay.
say you want to
Yeah.
continue to do your class. You are able to do that because now you have Zoom,
Right.
but you also have this document cam that will plug into Zoom or Panopto and allow you to continue doing the work. We were able to support the faculty with using those types of tools. We did little short trainings on how to use it. We got the ones that were plug and play because we didn't want it to be very difficult for them to be
Mm-hmm.
able to use it. But also, we did the real time training as well. We had Zoom rooms open where they could just drop in, ask questions, and do whatever was necessary to get their classes up and running.
Probably a tough question,
Yes.
multifaceted question. How do you measure success in what you're
Mhm.
doing?
Well, most people would say, of course, enrollment,
Right.
right? But for me, the success is twofold. So on the instructional design side, it is the feedback that we receive
Mm,
from the students on how well the class was designed, that they really felt like they met the requirements of the course because the content was delivered in a manner that helped do that. So getting that feedback from students is always a great thing. Getting that feedback from faculty is
mm-hmm.
even better, right? They're saying, hey, my students didn't have as many questions because
Right.
we have laid this course out in a way that helps them to understand the content. So we really want them to give us the feedback so we can do continuous learning.
What
And
sort of things do you do to elicit feedback? Because one of the things I've noticed with online courses is it can be hard to get people to fill out the course evaluations
yes.
because, normally in a traditional class, it's the last week of class. You say, okay, we're going to take 20 minutes. Everybody can fill out the
Yes.
evaluation. They're a captive audience.
Mhm.
You don't have that with the online.
Right. Primarily because these are adult learners,
Uh,
they're willing to give the information, partly because from the beginning you are creating an environment where they are a partner in their learning,
mm-hmm.
right? They want to make sure that the instructor and their other colleagues in their classes are we're all a partner in getting to the end of this. So when they feel like they're a part of that from the beginning, they're willing to give information. What we tend to do in some of the classes that I've designed is that we will put a mid-semester and
Mm.
a end of semester feedback. Just tell me, what do you think went really well in this class? What didn't go so well? What do you think you would have liked to have learned? Where were areas we could have improved? People, when they are asked questions where they feel like they're being valued, are
Mm-hmm.
really willing to give you feedback on that.
Cool. So now we have our fun lightning round questions.
Nice.
So, what's your favorite quiet spot on campus to take a break or think creatively?
Favorite spot. There is a little fountain beside Brown Copel,
Mm-hmm.
and it has seating that
Mm-hmm.
I like to sit there sometime. I don't do that often, but it's quiet and it's water.
Yeah, rushing water
Yeah,
is
it's
just
always so
soothing.
calming.
Yep.
Yes. So I'll say that would be the spot.
What's the most surprising thing you learned during your doctoral journey at Auburn?
Oh, I love that. So shout out to Maria Whitty. She was my chair. I would say two things will probably be the most surprising. That I can do hard things because it was hard. And what I learned was that it was okay not to know the answer.
Mm,
Sometimes I think we, specifically in leadership roles, we feel like we have to know the answer. We must provide the answer. And it's okay not to know. It's okay to say that I have to do research or I have to find
right.
out. And that is what I was taught in a doctoral program.
The best explanation I've ever heard about high school versus college versus graduate school is this. In high school, they give you the questions and the answers.
Hmm.
In college, they give you the questions and you have to find the answers.
Hmm.
In graduate school, you have to figure out the questions
Yes,
and the
that is
answers.
accurate. I love that. I might have to steal that one.
So, this is not a question that I would normally come up with, but what song would you put on the Engineering Online hype playlist?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I love music, so I I would probably say it would be "Till I Collapse" by Eminem.
Nice. I was going to go with Too Legit to Quit
I love
by
that one too.
MC Hammer. That was actually my theme song when I was taking comprehensive exams.
Nice.
Whenever I felt like I was running out of energy, I would just have that song in my head.
Yes, that's a good one.
What Auburn tradition do you hope never changes?
I think if you're an Auburn fan, it's in the DNA that you must say Toomer's Corner, like rolling up Toomer's Corner. I remember I grew up 20 miles down the road in Tuskegee, and my high school would work as a booster for Auburn University for the book club. And I still remember when they would win and how people would roll the trees. And so that should be something that always continues during football season and any wins.
Well, Alicia, thank you for being here with us on Tiger Bites.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, we try to make it fun. It's not 60 minutes. So that's all for this edition of Tiger Bites. Please join us again next time. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Tiger Bites. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained some valuable insights. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues. You can find us on all major platforms, and keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you next time on Tiger Bites.